What is going on, guys? It is I, Deimos, and welcome back to the channel. I hope you guys are all having a wonderful day, and we have an exciting announcement from New World. They are announcing their December PTR update. So everything that's going to be in this update is massive and extremely exciting. I kind of sped read it a second ago, and it's extremely interesting, and I think all you guys are going to be excited. So we're going to get right into these patch notes. Quick reminder, the PTR server is going to be open tomorrow at 10 a.m. PT, which I think is 1 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. And if you don't know how to do it, if you own the game, you own the PTR. All you have to do is go to Steam in your library and download and install it, and you are good to go as soon as it goes live. So I imagine this might follow a similar pathing as last time. You get in there, it lasts, and then maybe even they do server transfers because it is going to be one world available. I know they opened some worlds up near the end of the last one, so they might do that again. So it might be similar to the last one in that regard, but we're going to get into the actual content here, and we have some limited time content coming, and it's got this Yeti and some snow. It's a winter event, obviously. Winter is coming close. It is the Winter Convergence Festival. The holiday of the Winter Convergence has arrived in Aeternum, marked by the appearance of increased snowfall and the northern lights in the sky. This is the time of duality and dichotomy as the Yeti, the Winter Wanderer, comes to the land. While in the settlements, gifts are exchanged to mark the passing of the year. Outside the safety of the walls, there rages a wintry war between the positive forces of nature, slumber, and perseverance, championed by the Winter Wanderer's positive side, and the negative forces of winter, death and stagnation, are championed by the Winter Wanderer's negative side. So it seems like the main, enemy here is the Winter Wanderer, but he has two different sides, and the player takes on the cause of the Winter Wanderer to collect winter tokens from repeatable events across the island, able to turn them into a holiday shop containing rare and cosmetic items. The Winter Wanderer's positive aspect grows in power with each token collected and turned in, so I guess we're helping the good side of the Winter Wanderer here. Icy winds and the Winter Wanderer bring with them new armors, weapons, furnishings, skins, consumables, and a delightful present gifting emote, all themed off the wonderful Aeternum holiday of Winter Convergence. So you got some winter villages here. The Winter Wanderer has set up 4 villages to facilitate the joy and cheer of Winter Convergence. Visit these villages in Everfall, Monarch Bluff, Weaver's Fen, and Brightwood to meet the Winter Wanderer and carry out his holiday quests. The Convergence Spirit is a special town project that allows players to complete special town project quests to upgrade each settlement's Tree of Light for improved daily rewards. Lost Present Recovery. Those dastardly frigid folk are spreading their mischief and stealing presents across Aeternum. Located throughout the world are lost presents to be recovered and turned in for winter tokens at the Winter Village's holiday hut. Gleamite Collecting. Bright, glittering, gleaming Gleamite meteors of a multitude of color fall in the night sky during this time of year, as destructive as they are beautiful. Gleamite showers are a new, random, dynamic event that occurs at night throughout Aeternum. Keep your eyes and ears open as you search for locations where the showers are most prevalent. Exchange the harvested crystals for winter tokens at the Winter Village holiday huts. Happy hunting! So that's going to be really cool and probably really pretty. This game, obviously, one of its main parts about it is it's a fantastic looking game. So when stuff like this happens, it's probably going to be really pretty to watch. Ice caves are appearing all over Aeternum due to the Winter Warrior's desire for a forever winter. There are snowy and icy caves that the Yeti uses their power to freeze up and make snowfall. The rest of Aeternum will look like these ice caves if the onslaught of the warrior is not stopped. These caves are going to remain behind after the event as scars on the land and sources of wintry magic that refuse to melt even if the warrior is defeated. So that's cool. We're always going to have these ice enemies and ice caves around, so that'll be a nice little breakup from kind of the normal scenery that we're used to. This looks like maybe an Angry Earth enemy just iced over because we got like the dog, and this looks like one of the Angry Earth shamans. So we have some new quests as well. In addition to the new quest series offered by the Winter Wanderer for the Convergence Festival, there are also several new side story territory quests offered on Restless Shore and Morningdale. This update also introduces a new quest series associated with housing. After you completed the main story quest Encroaching Corruption, seek out architect Giacomo Altavoti, I'm sure I've said that wrong, near your starting settlement to begin the quest series. Further quests with the architect will be unlocked as you level up and progress your territory standing. New journal categories. New quest categories have been added to the journal for epic weapons and armor quests, and for the skill progression quests. This update is accompanied by new map pins for all quest types. That's a good change. It'll kind of help with recognize what's what. Now this is something that this is really where it all gets interesting. So we have some new features and it's some changes and additions to the current game systems that I think everyone is going to really like. So we have the expertise in Geibsum system. Based on feedback of the high watermark system and our desire to have a compelling and diverse endgame, we've made some major changes to the endgame. We've added a new resource called Geibsum that can be acquired every day by doing a variety of activities, open world name bosses, expedition bosses, outpost rush, arenas, corrupted breaches, etc. Each activity rewards a different type of Geibsum that can be crafted into a Geibsum orb. These orbs can be then crafted into a Geibsum cast of any weapon, armor, or trinket type. Opening a Geibsum cast will guarantee an expertise bump and gear of that type, so this is a way to target weapons, armor, and jewelry to level as your watermark or now the expertise system. I'm sure these Geibsum orbs are going to be on cooldown and you're probably going to have to do all of these things, maybe even a few in a row, like maybe you have to do these for like 2 or 3 days to get enough to cast one of these weapons. I obviously have no idea, but if I had to guess, that's probably what they're going to do because they obviously don't want you flying through the watermark system, and that makes sense. So I would expect to kind of have to grind for these a little bit, but it is a 100% guaranteed way to bump up your watermark, and I'm very excited for this. We've also renamed the higher watermark to expertise, and now display the current expertise level of each slot on your avatar in the inventory, so players can easily track their progress. We also show a level up banner anytime your expertise level increases. This is great as well. People have been asking for a way to track their high watermark or now expertise for a long time. So this is a really good change. And lastly, we've added 2 new in-game POIs where players can challenge themselves with difficult content and try to progress their expertise with level 66 enemies and elite chests. Both Malevolence in Eden Grove and the Imperial Palace in the North Dynasty Shrine have been up to level 66. Yes! I am so excited for this because I love Palace. I love going Imperial Palace. I go there every day. People hate going there because it's not a good watermark farm because the enemies are too low level. Getting a group for it is horrible. But it's such a good place for recipes and schematics and furniture. But now people have even more of a reason to go there because the enemies have finally gotten a bump in their difficulty and their level. I'm extremely excited for this entire change. But just the Palace part alone is got me excited. But it gets even better. The trade skill Aptitude. We want to continue rewarding the efforts you make to craft items for yourself, your friends, or to make a buck on the trading post. So we've introduced trade skill Aptitude. Upon reaching level 200 in a trade skill, the leveling circle will update to show 3 markers equidistant from each other on the circle. Earning trade skill XP will begin progressing you again, and when you reach one of the 3 markers, you'll be rewarded a container of useful items that are mostly trade skill relevant, such as craft mods, special ingredients, and even schematics and recipes. Each subsequent marker adds a more spectacular container with more rewards than the one before. Gaining enough XP to go all the way around the circle will increment the aptitude counter by 1. This counter will keep counting so you can keep track of how many times you've wrapped your progression around the top level, so I imagine the higher you go in this little prestige system, like it said, the better and more rewards you're going to get in these boxes. So I think this is an amazing idea to make it just more worthwhile to get 200, because right now you hit 200 and yeah, you can make everything. You can make these legendary weapons. The legendary weapons are not really that good, so that kind of sucks. It kind of stings a little bit when you get there, but you can also craft up to 600. But crafting up to 600 is a real pain in the butt, but they have also made that easier in this update, and we're going to go over that next. And they've introduced a new type of reward in this system called Equipment Patterns. Equipment Patterns are a crafting artifact that help enable you to craft guaranteed Gear Score 600 items with a specific appearance. Yes! I think this might be an introduction to transmogs as well. Patterns require a significant amount of powerful crafting resources to create, but guarantee a Gear Score 600 item. Understandable. Obviously, they don't want you rolling 600s every 2 seconds. I totally get that. Patterns still roll perks, and the player have normal amount of control over their outcome with craft mods and Azoth. Equipment patterns have a small chance to drop from Arcana, Weaponsmithing, Armoring, and Engineering Aptitude reward caches. So I think as long as this isn't like something extremely nearly impossible to actually get regularly, I think this is an amazing change that really helps make it worthwhile to be level 200 in a trade skill that isn't giving you more control over your craft. So obviously it gives you control over the gear score. You still have to kind of play the random game with your attribute and perk thing. I've always been I've always thought that when you hit level 200, you should be able to choose an attribute and a perk, but this is definitely something I'm willing to give a ride and give a try, and I'm really glad that they are listening and adding these really good changes that make things just more interesting and more worthwhile. That's like the expertise system. They're changing the high watermark system because I mean, I've played games where you have to do similar things, and it is just in New World, it is so boring. All it is running chests and running these time-gated dungeons, and not really. And sometimes you don't get anything good at all. Most of the time, you don't. It's just you hope and hope and hope that your gear score gets raised, and then eventually you have the option to get a level 600 item, and most of the time you don't. And whenever you do, it's usually trash. So, or if you are crafting and you use these time-gated legendary materials that take days to get enough of and are very expensive, you use them in hopes of getting a legendary or a at least usable high level purple, and you don't, you get something that's complete and total trash, and you just wasted all that time. So this is a really good way to kind of make it more worth doing these things, especially with the crafting. I think these crafting changes are absolutely amazing. And are really going to impact the way we play the game, because it's obviously a very craft heavy game. So crafting should have very good rewards and a very good system to work with. So I want to kind of stop beating that horse, but just know that I'm very excited about all these changes. I actually had to redo this video because I was so excited I couldn't talk. I had to calm down. PvP balance changes due to an issue in our initial PvP damage formula that caused lower gear to be more beneficial in damage mitigation. We've updated our formula, and we look forward to hearing your feedback on the issue. So I've actually always heard this. I thought it was a rumor that lower gear score stuff actually does better in PvP due to the scaling. I wasn't sure if that was true or just a myth, but it seems like that actually was the case, and luckily they have changed it. The PvP damage formula has been adjusted to the way armor mitigation is calculated to use enemy gear score value instead of your average gear score. So I guess that's kind of how this whole thing came into place. If you were lower stuff, it would scale the enemy to lower. I don't really know the math behind this or how it worked, but I can see kind of what's going on here. To adjust to the difference in armor mitigation, we increase the damage low-level players do to a higher-level player and reduce the damage the higher-level player does to lower-level players. I'm sure this won't make a difference outside of 1v1s because generally it's like 10 level 60s roaming the forests, obliterating people, but hopefully lower levels feel this and it helps them and gives them a chance. Crit damage application, critical damage bonuses for masteries or perks are now applied additively instead of being multiplied. On average, this will reduce the extra damage they provide by a small percentage. And buffer windows, a general consistency pass has been done across all weapons to adjust the buffering windows for dodges. Please do not destroy roll cancel with this. Abilities and basic attacks. The updated buffer window starts on the first frame of the attack that would deal damage, or on the first casting frame in the case of abilities that don't deal damage. So I don't really know exactly what this means. I'm not a big PvPer, so I'm sure there's kind of like maybe some kind of frame by frame meta thing that helps with cooldowns or damage. I'm not really sure. I'm sure people that know what's going on with this are going to be glad about this. Some people might be upset about it. I don't really know. All I know is that if this does get rid of the roll cancel, it's going to be very sad. But overall, if they can implement this without busting the whole game to the smithereens like they have done in the past, this is going to be one of the greatest updates I think we have ever gotten in New World live game. And I think this is going to go an amazing way of getting people interested again in the game and the current player base into these new events and just doing things overall that people don't really do anymore. Like a lot of these daily events, so let's see, where was it talking about the daily events to get the Gypsum? Like Outpost Rush, I'm sure high pop servers have these. My server never does Outpost anymore. We hardly ever run portals anymore. Expeditions, at this point I've just been helping lower levels do their expeditions because they cannot find people that will help them. Open world named bosses are interesting. I hope they do add more of those. The turkey is super cool. I love that so much. So all this in total I think is going to be a great update, and I'm very excited to get onto the PTR and play it. Let me know in the comments below what you guys think of all this. I hope you guys enjoyed the video. If you did, make sure you leave a like, and I will see all of you guys in the next one.